Would you rather have every meal be the best meal you've ever eaten or every night's sleep be the best sleep you've ever had?
I'm going to go with every meal be the best meal I've ever had.
We all know how much I love food. I'm totally picking meal. Meal every
Yeah.
time. I want the best food ever for the rest of my life.
No idea.
Welcome to Second Saturday, the podcast where every Sunday feels like a Saturday.
This is episode 19, and I'm Ainsley.
I'm Jen.
And today we're going to clear up an important detail, a little miscalculation we had quite a few episodes ago, actually.
We did. Yeah.
And my mother is a little teary-eyed because I'm back at school now.
We're
Again,
on two separate screens.
I have left her once again.
Rude.
Boo-hoo.
Super rude. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll catch up. We'll catch up on a few things. So first of all, let's go to that would you rather question.
Yeah, we chose the same thing.
Which
I feel like doesn't happen that often, actually.
No, and I was totally on the fence about this because listen, my sleep patterns have been for years, like for probably 15 or more years. So I've just come to accept the fact that I will not sleep well ever again. And I always tease and tell people, bah, I'll sleep when I'm dead. That's when I'm going to have a good night's sleep. I'll sleep when I'm dead.
Yeah, she actually does say that quite a bit.
So I was really on the fence about it because I'm like, oh, if I could have the best sleep ever every night, how amazing would that be? But I'm also at the stage of my life where I don't want to cook and I don't really want to make meals anymore. So if every meal that I had was like tasted like the best meal I've ever eaten, I think I would pick that over sleep because listen, I can find other sleep aids to try and help me sleep, but crappy food, yeah, you just can't. No.
Computer says no.
Computer says no.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same. Like, I feel like, well, one thing is I feel like if every meal tasted amazing, then I probably wouldn't eat. Well, maybe I would eat more. But I also feel like maybe I'd eat less because sometimes if I eat a meal and it's just not very good, then I want to keep eating.
Yes.
Because I feel like even if I'm like I ate enough to fill me up, I wasn't satisfied with the taste.
You're not satisfied.
So then I like want to eat more. Yes. And so I feel like maybe it could be a little weight loss theory.
Okay.
Like sleep. Well, listen, I already function without sleep, and so I might as well enjoy what
in your best
my taste
meal
buds can give
you've
me.
Ever had can be a healthy meal, right?
That's true.
So
and if it's every meal, so that means but does that just enhance the flavor? Like if I eat a bowl of Cheerios, is it just all of a sudden like
amped up?
Yeah.
Like amped up Cheerios, like, or just a snack. It's the best snack ever. Listen, that's my favorite saying to say anyways is best blank ever. So I probably would drive my husband crazy going, oh my God, that was the best meal ever. Oh, that was the best meal ever. He'd probably be like, okay, Jen, like enough.
Yeah. I feel like I would just like I can be tired. Like I'm tired today. I got 0 sleep last night. But like a good meal, that can rejuvenate you.
Yes.
You know, like sometimes food is what you need. And if you can get a good meal, then you're fine for the rest of the day.
Yeah, exactly. And
so
listen,
there's some theory back there.
There is. Yeah. And have you met me? Like, and I also, if I have like the, how do I say this? The less sleep I have, the more focused I become on like managing and like juggling tasks and keeping them like up in the air. So, which was a total like positive point when we owned the lodge because like you worked from the time you got up to the time you went to bed. And sometimes like if, you would have late nights and early mornings, like getting up at 4:30 in the morning to make bread for that day or whatever. And the more tired I was, I could just like get my little plates of, tasks to do and I could keep them up and just juggling them like crazy. And so I'm okay. I'm okay with those sleep. So we're going to throw this out to you. Which would you rather have? Would you rather have every meal taste like the best meal you've ever had or every sleep feel like the best night's sleep you've ever had? So please drop it in the comments. We'd love to hear from you and see which one you'd want to choose. It's a toughie.
It is a toughie.
It is a
It's a
toughie.
big toughie. I mean, yeah, food all the way. Although I am trying to enhance my cooking skills. Um, I made a fun dinner last night. I
I have
made
a comment about that when you're finished.
oh no, I'm scared. I
Yeah,
made
be
like smash burgers is what they're called. But that's basically when you just take your burger patty and make it really thin. And some
yep.
people do it with like a regular burger bun or like a tortilla. So
Mm-hmm.
I used corn tortillas and I basically made a burger taco. And it was actually really
Fun.
fun. I definitely put too much ingredients for the amount of meat I had because by the time I put all my sauces in there to mix up my ground beef, it was very liquidy. And
Oh
I had to
no.
add a little extra because I didn't know how much to put in there. So I
Well, you
kind of,
should have referred to like okay, so first of all, Ainsley had texted me to say, what do I add to
yeah,
ground beef to
I
make
did.
like a yummy
I put
burger?
everything in there.
And I told her, but I did not give her like quantities.
No.
So and
Well, I
amounts to
figured I
put
would
in.
eyeball. Well, I figured that whatever quantity you give me would be for a big bowl of ground beef because usually we make quite a few burgers and sometimes we'll freeze them. I just had a little 1 pound package of ground beef. So I was like, no, I'll just eyeball it. So I threw a little oatmeal in there, a
Mm-hmm.
little, I stole barbecue sauce and mustard from the fridge. I don't know whose they were, but thank you. And I put an egg in there,
Yep.
like you said. And then I didn't put steak spice, but I put some like garlic plus in there because I thought that would
Fun.
be yummy. Because
Yep.
I don't know if we had steak spice, and I wasn't about to buy a
Yeah.
thing just for these burgers. And so
Yes.
definitely by the time all those like the barbecue sauce and mustard and stuff was in there, it was a little runny. So I put some more oatmeal because I didn't put a ton in
Yeah.
the beginning.
Yeah.
And it actually turned out pretty good. Like it was a little gooey, but by the time you cook it, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
And then I put
Exactly.
cheese, like shredded cheese on it and my ketchup and mustard, and then I flipped it so it was kind of like looked like a taco or like a quesadilla.
Love
And
that.
I did that and they were so good. Like
That
it was
is
really good.
that's
And I
really
made some french
yummy.
fries too. But
That sounds like
yeah.
well, and listen, now that you've made them once, you'll know
Oh yeah.
what you need to alter with those
My
ingredients.
girlfriend told me that I have to make them again. So
Oh,
she quite liked them.
very cool.
But that was
Very
a
cool.
big experiment for me because usually if I have hamburgers, I just buy like a frozen patty. So I was actually trying to be like, no, I want to make my own.
Well, exactly. And now you know you can make some, freeze them. You got
Yeah.
them. I
But what
love it.
was that your comment? The
No,
measuring? Oh
so I
God.
was on the phone with your dad the other day
Hmm.
because he is working away from the house right now. He's off on a job. And so I was saying that I was talking to you on the phone and that you were excited because you were going to be making, a couple of different meals for when your girlfriend was coming over this week.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of telling him what you were making. And his comment right away was, huh, well, why didn't she think to make any of these types of meals when she was home at
See,
Christmas?
I knew.
And
Oh,
I have to say, because your brother was really good, he did a couple of shore lunches, he cooked breakfast for everybody, and the other sibling, was MIA in the kitchen.
listen, listen, Linda. He made that comment to me while I was there. I think.
Yeah.
But
Well,
my thing that I think I like my big thing is that I would love to cook for everyone, but I fear that like if I was to go in the kitchen, I would not only have him, but I'd also have my brother just like down my neck while I was cooking. Like I don't think they could leave me alone and just be like they'd always be like, "Oh, oh, oh," like in my face. That's always like something because I think about it all the time. I'm like, "Oh, like I could cook something." Like I have thought about it, but I think I'm just don't want to deal with them. If they see me in that kitchen, they're going to be like,
yeah.
"Oh, you're finally cooking?"
Yeah.
Like I've never cooked in my life.
Just, you know what? You just look at them and say, hey, do I tell you how to fix a chainsaw? No, because I don't know what I'm talking about.
That's
So
true.
off you go. Take it and leave.
That's true.
So yeah. So anyways, yeah. So we had a
Yeah.
little bit of a laugh about that, but good for you. I'm so glad
Fair
that your
enough.
meal turned out awesome.
Fair
That's
enough.
exciting.
Yeah.
Well done. Weather report today.
Yes, the weather report. It has been chilly here lately. Well, when I left home, it was quite cold. It was
Well,
minus
and
40 when I left.
we have to make a note that when we actually aired last Sunday's episode, we
Yes.
had pre-taped it because
Yeah.
we knew that
We were going to be
Ainsley
busy.
that you we were headed down to the city to send Ainsley off on the plane to go back to
And
Ontario. So
the whole week leading up to that episode, we had extra people at our house.
yes,
It
so
was very
we
busy. So we did
pre-taped
that.
it.
Yeah,
So the
not too
weather that
long
you
after
saw for
Christmas.
last Sunday was
Yeah.
not genuine weather for that
No.
actual Sunday. You could have
Uh-uh.
tacked on about 20 degrees colder and then you would have been somewhat around what we were. We were
Yeah, like
freezing last weekend. It was
those
nuts.
last few days leading up to me flying back to school were like so cold. Like
So when
Oh,
we drove the 7 hours south to the city to get to the airport, we left first thing in the morning. So of course it's pitch dark out, and like it was so cold that we had all the heaters on high, and we could not get the side windows to defrost. You
yeah,
couldn't see out them at all. You could see out the main window, but there was definitely frost around like the top and the corners of the window, but you couldn't see anything out the sides at all. That's how cold it was. So
it was very cold.
it was cold. It was
So
cold.
like from there to here is definitely drastic difference, but we have had a lot of like high winds, so it's just made it
Okay.
even like to the point where like our temperature versus our wind chill is about 10 degrees difference, which
Yeah.
is quite extreme for here, I'd
For
say.
there, yep.
So the last few days have been, well, the first couple days I was home, it was probably like minus 20-ish. Today was
Ha
definitely one of
ha
our
ha.
warmer days. Today was about minus 10, but it felt pretty chilly. But as the day went on, it did warm up.
Okay.
We were probably about minus 14, 15 by the afternoon, and the wind had died down
Nice.
a little bit, which was nice, but it has been nippy out, that's for sure.
Nippy. Word of the day,
Nippy.
nippy. Okay, so yes, after the weekend, it did warm up here. Like, it just amazes me how within a 48-hour time frame, you can go from minus 34-degree weather to zero.
Yeah.
Like that's a 34-degree temperature swing in 48 hours. Like it's insane because we did actually get to zero yesterday. We actually had a bit of spitting rain
Hmm.
for several, probably about 20 minutes at the beginning of the day. And I'm like, what kind of tomfoolery is this? But so we have had a little, we just have a reprieve for like one day. I swear it was one day. Um, and, uh, and then today we're slowly getting colder and our winds are picking up. And so the wind chill is pretty nasty. So we're sitting there at like minus 13, feels like minus 21, I think it is. But with that wind, it's still, 21 is still feels colder than that.
Yeah.
So, it is what it
I
is. We're in
mean,
the heart of January.
I can say that there is green grass outside my front doorstep. So
Oh my gosh.
they apparently they did get snow before I came home, but I don't see any evidence of that.
It's just a
So
slow release watering system
yeah,
for Toronto. I swear to God. Like, man,
yeah,
we got a little bit of snow yesterday. We got a little bit of snow today. So I think I might have to get out the snowblower tonight or today and clean out the driveway a little bit. So yeah, so that's where we're at.
yeah.
So typical
It's
January for us
January.
here. So nothing.
It's January for us here too. Like January is usually the
Yeah.
worst weather we have here.
Okay.
So
There you have it.
I mean, if minus 20 is the worst I'm getting, I'm happy with it.
Well, seeing as how when we left, it was minus 34 without the wind chill. Like
Yeah.
felt like in the early, like the low minus 40s.
Yeah.
So
It was
listen, that's twice
cold.
as warm
Oh yeah.
as it was when
Like
you
it was
left here.
so cold that when we were driving down to the city, the fan that blows heat by your feet was blowing cold air out
It froze
for
up. It
quite a
took a
while.
while to thaw
So
out.
it took a long time to get that.
It did several
We had to put
hours.
like the circulation thing on to get the other heat down there and
Oh,
maybe toast it up a bit. Like my
we were,
feet were like icicles in the truck. Oh,
it was a while. Yeah. And
crampage.
then, anyways, oh well.
Oh well, I feel like I feel like this bodes well with our clarification. Um
Yes.
So quite a few weeks ago, we talked about like the different parallels where we're located,
So
and
dumb.
I was
So dumb.
trying to look up the distance between parallels and all that
Yes.
fun stuff while talking to you guys, and it was a little bit difficult. So we got our math a bit wrong, and just the other day we were in the truck going down to the city, and we started talking about it because
We did.
we saw the
We
54th
the
parallel
54th
sign.
parallel sign. Yep.
And so we were talking about it, and we are like, that just doesn't seem right because like if I said we were about 600 kilometers apart, like
Straight north
north and
south.
south, but if you think about that, that's about 6 hours for us. About 100 kilometers is about 6 hours in our world of if with no traffic, just driving, and that's like where we
Winnipeg to
live
here.
to Winnipeg, and then Toronto is still below
Way
that.
south.
So
Like in the States, I think Toronto is on the same parallel as like Minneapolis, which
yeah.
is a fair bit.
And like when I googled it, it said that we were south of the 49th parallel, but the 49th parallel is pretty high, so it was just kind of like Toronto's just below that. I don't really know if they know what parallels are over here, but so we kind of like we looked it up a bunch, and we were still
We
getting the
did.
same results, and we kind of looked at a map, and we are assuming that we're kind of double that. So
Yes.
we're assuming we're about 1,200 kilometers
I
in
thought you
distance.
said that Toronto was closer to the 43rd
Yeah.
parallel.
Something like that. It took a lot of research.
We did a lot of
We
research on this.
discussed
Like,
it
how
for a long
ridiculous.
time. Like it was a very long topic in this car
Silly.
ride. But
Oh,
we think we're about 1,200 kilometers, which if you look
1,200
at
kilometers.
it makes a lot
Like
more sense.
straight north. Like, so
Yeah.
if you're in Toronto and you just drove straight north 1,200 kilometers, that is the same level that you would be
Yeah.
parallel.
Parallel to them. So that was we were like, we need to state this.
Oh, it's
Important
been bugging
things.
me and bugging me and bugging me because I'm like, it can't be. Like, I was really losing my mind over that. Like, and
Well, even
I
when we
thought about it
told
way more
them-
than I should.
Yeah, when we told you guys, I was like, even in my head, I was like, that doesn't make much sense. I was like,
Makes
but
sense.
I'll just go with it. Like, I can't do two things at
Listen,
once.
it's
here.
the internet. Is it ever wrong?
Well, it was for a minute.
It was for a minute.
Till I did a little deeper dive. Anyways. Now
yes.
you know.
The more
I'm actually
you
on like the 43rd parallel or something like that. Not
I'm
that
still-
that really, no one ever tells you, they're like, where do you live? Oh, I'm around the 43rd
know.
parallel.
Oh my gosh. When someone asks you, please say that. I'm
will.
around the 43rd parallel and just
Yeah.
wait. Because literally, like, it's not a prestige thing, but it's quite well known that like we're north of the
Yeah.
53rd parallel.
54th.
North of the 50. We might be close to the 53rd.
Don't we see the 54th parallel sign?
We do, but I feel like we're
And we're
right
north
up by
of
the
that.
53rd.
Oh,
Anyways.
I guess if the world is round, I guess it kind of comes up.
Wow, this
But
is really becoming a
This has
topic
become
here in
quite
this.
something. Because we were talking about how,
like for
in the-
fishing, I'm just saying when we used to do
Oh.
sport shows, like that was a big thing you had posted. If you were north of the 54th or the 53rd parallel, you had that plastered all over your sports show booth because that
Yeah.
held some
It's
weight
like a big
that
thing
was
in the
you were in the
north.
north fishing, right?
because
So
like if we were thinking about this, because on our drive to Winnipeg, we see two signs. We see the 54th parallel sign and the 53rd parallel sign.
oh, so then I'm north of the 54th.
That's what I was trying to tell you.
Okay.
I was like, we passed this sign. You're like, yeah, I know, but we're close to the 53rd. No.
And
Anyways,
we're so
but then-
lazy that we pass it and we both look at each other. So we've passed it several times over the Christmas season. We're like, oh, we should stop and get a picture. And we're
Yeah.
literally only 200 yards from it. And we're like, let's
No.
keep going. So
Um,
I seriously want that photo. I want
Yeah.
the photo beside the 54th.
but like once you keep driving, like that road is very straight. You go point A to point B.
Yeah.
But we have never noticed a 52nd sign.
No,
So
I've
like
never seen it.
it must be a very northern thing.
Must
Because
be.
like if you think about it, if I'm driving through Toronto, you don't just see a 43rd. Like imagine.
Woo! 43rd. See, we need to make these signs and have
Yes.
jazz hands attached to them. 43rd.
We just need to put them up everywhere.
Oh, right?
Ay.
Oh, I love it. Yes. And you don't I've only ever seen the 54th and 53rd on my way down to Winnipeg. And I mean, we used to always tease our guests because that road is so straight that we used to say, oh, well, you just get to Winnipeg. And then you go north and you just tie your steering wheel off and you just drive for 6 hours and then make a left at the end of the road because it's so terribly straight.
It's just one road.
It's very straight, man. It's very straight.
And like we would notice if there was another sign because when you see a sign, you get excited and you read
do.
it because there's nothing else to look
There's
at.
nothing else there. Like sometimes you might drive for what, 3 hours?
Yep.
Maybe see a couple of cars, maybe like a couple of cars to pass you. Like you're in the bush. It's not until you get about halfway to Winnipeg that you start to get into some smaller towns and stuff like that. But
A little more traffic.
Oh, it's so exciting. It's like you see cows in a field and you're like,
yeah.
whoa, there's cows. We're so lucky.
Those cows are every time and we're still like, whoa, cows.
There's also a place that sells like all kinds of like used equipment and vehicles and things like that. And so every time we drive past that one, I try to block off my passenger side window so that my husband can't look. And I'm like, you don't need to see anything over there. We're not stopping.
Yep.
We still have 4 hours to go. And I've done that a few times. He just looks at me and laughs. Yeah. All right. So there you go. The parallel debate has been put to bed.
They didn't even know there was a debate. We had that debate to ourselves.
I know, it's So dumb. So dumb. Oh,
Oh,
so good. Okay.
oh
Well,
my
what
goodness.
else do you
Okay,
do on a 7-hour drive?
exactly.
You discuss the parallels. That's what you do. Oh man, we are so boring.
Oh, goodness, goodness,
It's
goodness.
ridiculous. Oh my
Okay,
gosh.
back on track.
Back on track, Ainsley. So I dropped
Getting
Ainsley
back.
off at the airport, her and her girlfriend, and saw them off at the airport. And the whole ride down, I'm like, I'm not crying. Like, I'm not going to cry because seriously, like we have social media. I'm like literally going to FaceTime her probably
Yeah.
when she gets home or the
And
next day or
we've done
whatever.
this goodbye like so many times too. Like
Right?
I actually didn't think I would. I
I
was
didn't think I would
completely
either.
composed the entire time, the whole week leading up to leaving too. I was like, you know what? I'm okay. I'm okay for once. Got to the
I'm okay.
airport, I was not okay.
I'm okay. So, and here's my part. So that the girls were busy checking in at their whatever the airlines that they needed to check into. So I was standing over closer to the security where they have to go in and go to the other side of the airport. And so there were a couple other people that were there seeing off whoever. And this one mom was hugging her son and hugging him so hard. And I bet they hugged for like 2 minutes straight. And she'd look at him and then she'd hug him again. And I was like, why did you do that, Jen? Why would you look at that? Because I start to cry just watching them. Just watching them, I was crying. And then, so of course, Ainsley and her girlfriend come around the corner and I'm like, oh my God, like
Here we
it's
go.
inevitable. I can't not. So
Yeah.
anyways,
It was like a really weird situation because I felt like I was in a bit of a weird situation because normally if I'm at the airport with my mom, I'm leaving. But
yeah,
then also normally if I'm at the airport with my girlfriend, she's leaving. And so
yes.
it was a very like, okay, I'm excited because now we don't have to say
Yeah,
goodbye at security and we
right.
get to go through together. I was like, but I'm also leaving my mother. I was like, I didn't know what to do. But we all cried.
We all cried. So then I just
Yeah.
grabbed them both and we just all hugged and
Yeah.
we cried and yeah, it
All
is
that
what it
fun
was.
stuff.
Yeah.
So
So I
it
gotta
wasn't, I mean, security is so easy in Winnipeg. So it was, we were right through nice and quick. And then we
you
did
know.
have quite a bit of a wait. Um, our flights were supposed to leave out. The funny thing is, we were on two different flights that left
Mhm.
5 minutes apart. In theory, that
It's
never
like a
happens.
race.
So we were supposed to leave out at 7, and my flight got delayed before we even got to the airport by about 40 minutes, which wasn't bad. And then by the time we were at the airport, I was at an hour, and my girlfriend's flight was fine, nothing wrong there. So we waited for a little bit. We got something to drink and all that fun stuff, and just we really just sat there. And then her flight was a little bit delayed because they had to do maintenance, which freaked her right out because she does not like flying.
Aw, poor
And I was like,
thing.
but they were done so quick. And so I was the reassuring girlfriend. I was like, it's probably just something inside. I was like, my flight on the way here, they couldn't
It's
get
your
the
phalange.
it's, it's the left phalange.
It's the left phalange from Friends. If anybody knows, it's the left phalange.
But I was there to soothe all the worries because like on my flight home,
Ugh.
they couldn't get the one locker to shut above our heads. Like they had to kind of finesse it. So I was like, it's
Because
probably
the right
something.
phalange was blocking it,
Yeah.
Ainsley.
But so I just told her I was like, it's probably something like that because it was done
Yeah.
so quick. I was like, it's probably just something inside that they just have to refix.
Yeah.
And so all was well. And so she was probably about 45 minutes later for takeoff, I'd say.
Oh, so then you basically left pretty
And
close
they
together
had to
anyway.
go get de-iced and stuff like that. And my
Mhm.
flight was late, so it came in right as like she was leaving because she like sent me a photo through the plane of my plane because our gates were right beside each other.
So silly.
And so I didn't leave too terribly long afterwards, which worked out well because we were in two different terminals when we landed as well.
Yeah.
Which the flight was fine. The landing was horrendous for both of us, but it was fine. We made
Okay.
it safe and sound.
You're still in one piece, as I can see, so I'm okay
Here
with
I
that.
am. I lost the race though because I left later, but not by that much actually. They had
Well, there
just
you go.
gotten her bags and to my terminal by the time I was at baggage claim. So
Oh, perfect.
it was like perfect timing.
That's good. Good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
How did things go on your end?
Took a slight turn
So
for me.
we left on Saturday morning because we flew out
Mhm.
Saturday night
We
just to
flew out
put
Saturday
that.
night,
And then
and then I
that
was
way mom would be able to just drive back Sunday and she wouldn't have
turn
to
and
take any
burn, get
time
back
off
to
work.
work. Yeah.
That
So
was the
that's right.
goal.
That was the goal. And the goal shifted.
Yes.
So I had some battery issues on Friday. And so on Saturday, that's fine. We're trekking along. Seemed to be doing fine. Drove 5 hours, stopped at the gas station to get gas. And I went to turn my car back on, my truck, and it was stone dead. No
Yeah.
jumper cables. Like, I just can't believe I was that dumb. I was so mad that I was that dumb that I didn't bring
Especially
them.
with how cold it was. But I mean, we were prepped in every other aspect. We had
Every other aspect, I was
jackets and
prepped.
hats and mitts.
I even took a candle
Yep.
and just in case, because you just never know when you're traveling a
Yep.
distance. Anyways, got it boosted, was able to beg and plead to get it into a dealership for Monday morning.
Which is
And
hard on a weekend
on
and
Saturday,
like
just before
on
everything
like over
closes.
holiday breaks too, when like
Yeah.
everyone's short staffed. Like we probably called 4 or 5 different dealerships.
Yeah, we did.
We were like, please.
We were like, please, please, please. And they're like, oh, can you come like a week from Friday? It's like, no, I live 700 kilometers north
Yeah.
of you. I can't drive back here and go back. Anyways, one dealership was kind enough to let me in. I did some diagnostics and I just needed a battery replacement, which was not cheap. So it was definitely a little more expensive of a trip than I wanted. But you know what? I'm back in the north with a fresh battery
Yeah.
and life is good. And now
But
I
she
have
was
jumper cables.
stuck in the city for an extra day. Because
Which,
you had to
you know
wait.
what?
You had to wait all Sunday and then take it in Monday. So she did end up missing a day of work.
I did miss a day of work. It wasn't so bad when I really thought about it because the hotel was awesome.
It was so nice.
They rebooked me, like added on my day, like nobody's business. So easy, so accommodating. And then once I got the girls off to the airport and then got settled, I had my car plugged in. I had a battery pack to try and boost it so I could make sure I get the dealership on the Monday. And then I finally was able to sit and relax. And let me tell you, after 2 weeks of Christmas vacation with a million people in my house, and I could just sit and just scroll through Netflix, man, it was the most relaxing night ever. I was like, okay, it's not so bad. It's not so bad.
Nice. Sounds nice.
It was nice. I did not mind it at all. So that was my funness. So now Ainsley is back at school and in her last semester.
Which is very exciting. It's very nerve-wracking to think about. All of us, I like went to school on Tuesday, and me and all my friends just kind of looked at each other like, what are we doing? But I have some classes that I think I'll enjoy more this semester, so it's a good way to end the semester with, or end the school year, which is crazy.
And all of your schooling, that's all you've done.
I know.
It's all you've known.
And I don't think I'll go back to school for anything.
If you do, you're paying for it, man.
Yeah.
I just paid the last installment of tuition. I was like, oofta.
So we'll see what the future holds, but I don't, it's not going to be school, I'll tell you that much.
Okay. Please let it
but
be
no,
a job.
It is. I want it to be a job as well. But yeah, nothing crazy. It's the first week back. Well, it was kind of crazy because the first week back, and we didn't know if we were going to go on strike or not, which was quite unpleasant.
Yeah.
So a lot of my professors were like, we don't really know what we're going to do because we don't know anything until we don't know more than what you guys know. So it was very iffy as to how the semester was gonna go about.
Right.
But we found out that there is no strike, which is
yay! I'm happy about that.
This is the second strike I've avoided because they have been possibly on strike twice now in my career. It's kind of like a bookend thing because it happened my first year, and now it's happening my last year where we've had this threat. Because they have gone on strike before. I learned today that they went on strike in 2017 for 5 weeks, and they had to extend their semester. That would have been awful.
Boo.
But anyways, so that was a little eventful because no one really knew what was going to happen.
Yes.
But everything is rolling as it should. So
nice.
That's is great. Good over here.
It's good over there. I love it. Yep. Okay. Well, that sounds good. Ainsley and her girlfriend also made a bingo 2025 calendar that they would like go fetch it while I talk. So that they wrote down things that they'd like to accomplish in 2025, and you put it on an actual printable bingo card. And then as you do them, you cross them off, and your goal is to get a blackout. So anyways, Ainsley did that. Her and her girlfriend made that. See, look at how cool that is.
Yeah. We just wrote on it, drew on it, all that fun stuff. If you want to make one, I mean, obviously every bingo card has a free space.
I haven't filled mine. I'm going to do it though.
Yeah. I think
I decide I'm going to do it.
Idea. Because you don't have to accomplish them all. It's not like it's a hard set goal. I have try a new hobby, but I didn't specify what hobby. It's kind of open-ended, which is nice.
So you're not going to try river dance?
What is that?
Google it.
Okay, I will. Anyways, Like every bingo card has a free space, and so we wanted to like make ours not just free space. So we made our free space our birthday, like turn whatever
Love
age,
it.
just as something different because that's kind of like a guarantee. So
It's the one
yeah,
you will
I
cross
will
off
get
on your
that
bingo
one
card.
off. But otherwise, there's like some harder ones and some easier ones. Like one on
Yep.
here I have is to graduate, which in theory I should. So
Yes. I
it
feel
was
like
cool
it's
for
very
them.
similar to my summer to remember, which is
Yeah.
I got from another YouTube couple. And I printed that off and I did that only for the summer. And I did probably knock off about half the things that I had on there. So I'm going to go and grab that and I'm going to incorporate some of those because they were summer goals and then also
Yeah.
some winter goals as well. So yeah, so I'm going to get my card filled out as well, Ainsley, and then I will
If
post
you
that
want
as
to
well.
get really fancy with it, I drew the grid on the back of mine as well, so I can put the date I completed it, just so I can kind of see like, because right now, what we're 2 weeks into the year and I haven't done a single thing on here, but like, there's no rush. But I think it'd be interesting to see like how many I do at once, or like when I actually kind of
Yeah.
kick into doing it.
Yep. I like
Um,
that.
just as my own personal thing, but
Yeah. So just a
yeah,
little, hey, if you're interested, we're going to do a year bingo card this year
yeah.
and see if we can block it out. So, if you want to do one too, let us know and let us know
See,
maybe
one of mine is learn new recipes, so we're working
why
on
could
that.
why couldn't you have learned those January 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th before you left?
There's too much pressure.
Rude.
It was too much pressure. Too much pressure.
Can't handle the pressure. That's awesome. Well, that's good, Ainsley. Well, I'm glad you're
Yes.
back. You're settled. You're fed.
I'm fed.
I'm hoping that this year you have best meals ever coming to
Oh,
you on a
yes.
weekly basis.
I hope so
Um,
as well.
yeah, and if anybody has any recipes on how to make a super awesome smash burger,
Or
throw it in the
anything.
comment. Or what Ainsley's gluten free. That's why we
Yes.
chose oatmeal as a little bit of a filler instead of like a cracker or something like that for the burger. So if anybody has some really great gluten free burger options,
Yeah.
throw it
Or
our
any
way.
fun recipe. Because gluten free can
Fun.
be hard. Like, I quite often just eat like meat and potatoes and a vegetable. But I would like to make like more fun things. Like, I would love to make like a casserole. But quite
Hmm.
often that requires a lot of gluten. So,
Yeah. To be fair, she's always been a meat, potatoes, and vegetable person
yes.
because I can remember going on sports trips with Ainsley in like grade 9 or 10, and we would stop at like a nice chain restaurant like Boston Pizza, and all the rest of the team is getting nachos
And
and
like pizzas
pizzas
and
and dips and
platters.
platters. And Ainsley would look at them and go, "Can I have a steak and potatoes, please, and baked potato?" And the rest of them would all look at them, and the server would look. She's like, "How do you want your steak? Medium." and and so she would be sitting there and I'll have green beans. Like
Yeah.
that's just how she rolled all the
Yeah.
time. I'll have a
Oh,
meat, potato, and a vegetable.
so good.
Yes, very,
But
very
I would
us.
like to expand a little bit because that
Okay,
does get a little tiring. So,
awesome.
um, yeah,
I
that's my
love it.
goal. I
I
mean, I'm
love it.
having a meat, vegetable, and potato tonight, but
Are you having a steak?
I am having a steak and asparagus. So,
Oh, I
anyways,
love it. That's awesome.
yeah.
All right, Ainsley. Well, we should probably say goodbye to this Sunday.
Ciao.
Thank you so much for watching yet again. We so appreciate you guys. We hope you're enjoying it. We're loving making these. So thank you so much for tuning in yet again.
Yes. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell because we have more podcasts coming
We do. We do. We
forever
do.
and ever and ever and ever.
Forever. Oh, you know what? Maybe one of our squares should be Dubai.
Oh, I need an extra square.
Okay, you'll have a
I need
bingo
an
card with
honorary
like,
square.
yeah, you need an honorary square. Fair enough.
Well, if
All
you
right.
have it
So,
on yours, then that means I'm going. So,
oh, I guess it does. Hey, okay.
yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Sounds great. All right, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we will
Yes.
see you next Sunday. Till
Bye.
then.